All right, hey guys, welcome back to the Good Stuff Podcast, where we talk about the good stuff going on here in Marysville, Ohio, community for us, and maybe you out there, maybe you're looking to move here. While my business might be helping you buy or sell a house, I really enjoy selling people on the community, and it's a whole lot easier when I get to talk to people like this guy here, Mr. Rob Burby.
Thank you. Yep, glad to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. So today, we're in the greenhouse. I wanted to talk about greenhouse plants. What is today? It's the 24th of February, so time to start thinking about stuff growing, right?
It's always time to start thinking about plants.
Always. I like it. I do a lot more than I used to, so it's kind of an always present thing for me these days. Have I told you about all the stuff I've got in my office that I've been growing and trying to grow?
You talked about the new greenhouse that you just built and all that fun stuff.
And that, yep. Last year, COVID, being stuck inside, I started bringing more plants and stuff inside, which you've said has been a common thing for a lot of people.
A lot of people are starting to grow their own seeds and wanting to grow their own vegetables. Obviously, don't need to talk about the prices of all the food, but it will be a lot of savings if you can grow your own food.
Yep. Yeah, well, it doesn't take any time either, so it's really easy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, jeez. Patience is key.
Patience. That's one thing people say, you've got a green thumb. I said, no, I just have a memory and patience.
Yeah.
As long as you remember to water stuff, and it's not rocket sun and water, nutrients.
Yeah, there's a few other things, but yes, it's the gist of it.
But, there's that, what did I hear somebody say one time? Most things, 90% of the work takes 10% of the time, and, perfecting things is that last, takes forever to really dial things in,
Right, yeah.
So anyway, that's all my point was there. If people just watered things and remembered to do those things, success rate would go way up.
Way up, yes. Yep.
Man, it's good and humid in here.
It is hot.
I'm going to take those down. I like it. Anyway, so lots of good things going on here. You guys are great members of the community. How long have you guys been here?
So our retail store will be 22 years this spring. Our warehouse, Leo Burby Bulb Company, has been here for almost 40 years.
And some lineage before that, right?
And many years before that over in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Very cool. Always wanted to go.
Yep.
So, yeah, been here for a while. You've probably seen them. So I guess for the more I go to a greenhouse and buy plants and go to different places and look to see who has what's the 30-second elevator pitch for? What are you guys known for other than the bulbs and
So we are known for basically a family atmosphere. We really cater towards new gardeners as well as very experienced gardeners. So you could come in here and just buy a few things to get your vegetable garden or your herb garden going, or if you just want a hanging basket, something pretty, we supply those. Or if you want a full landscaping, trees, shrubs, perennials, we carry a little bit of everything here.
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
That is true. I'm going to say, now, how many greenhouses do you have altogether?
So currently we have 6 greenhouses, 2 of which are strictly for retail, and then we have 4 that we grow our plant material in.
So it definitely seems like it's grown every day,
Yep.
Driving by more and more.
Yep.
Like this one here is, 3 years now?
So this will be our 3rd season in here. And what's funny about this greenhouse is that when we built it, it was supposed to be just for growing. And then we just saw people flocking right to it, and then we're like, "Oh crap! Let's hurry up and turn it into a retail." So now it's a little bit of a growing / retail greenhouse, which has turned out perfectly for us.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much was my uncle here. My uncle's company built this. I don't know how much he was.
Yeah, that's ironic. Yeah, Dennis built this greenhouse, so I think it took him probably 2 months to build this but of course, there was a lot of ground prep and water and electricity to get all installed. But they were in here dead of winter, January, February, and I'd feel so bad for these guys. I mean, it is freezing cold out, and they're like, "No." I was like, "You guys need to take?" No, we don't need to take a break. It's just this is what we do. I'm like,
"Oh yeah."
I mean, my fingers. I mean, I couldn't function. And they're out here just...
Oh, they're used to it, yeah. I helped them once on one, prepping ground, frozen ground, trying to drive stakes in the ground for, I forget what kind of greenhouse it was, but for, the arches going up or something and driving into frozen ground.
Yeah.
Which I preferred that over the other time I helped them one time. I think... I don't see any on this one. Yeah, the trough up there. That...
the gutters, yeah?
Yeah, gutter. When I helped them once, it was, a hoop to hoop, and it was, 95 degrees out. He's like, all right, go down to the end and get all these, the purlins and like the support structures. And he's like, all right, now we go get a handful, a big bundle, and walk them back. 14 feet in the air.
Yeah.
All there was the gutter. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You want me to walk like heel toe over this stuff? And like they were burning and like super hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So those guys, hard work.
And they're not light. I mean, it's a lot of it's heavy stuff here. So
Yeah. And I'm I've been meaning to ask what all this stuff is back here, and obviously on the podcast you can't see it. There's a lot of high-tech looking water lines and filters and stuff.
Yeah, so that stuff is actually a lot of our well equipment, as well as our fertilizer injector, as well as it's a lot of irrigation. So everything water. So
that's these things dripping down?
Basically, if you guys can see these little drips, so those are what we call our drips. So we just put our hanging baskets right on top of here, and then we can literally water 500 baskets at any given time. Another one of those equipments is what we call a floating well. So we actually pull all our water out of a pond, which of course you can't see. And during the summer months, the water goes down, and we've got a well that just floats and fills it as it needs. So called a floating well. So which is nice that we have it set to one side of our pond, and we pull out of the other side of the pond, so it kind of filters out all the yuck, all the iron, and all that stuff. Exactly.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Very interesting. So anyway, biased opinion. This is the place I come to for my plants, and you need to mulch and soil and all that stuff, and so a variety of things you can come get if you need to.
Yep.
So an interesting thing that we plan to talk about today. So as a real estate agent, helping people buy and sell houses and do those things is important. But one of the things I feel like I can bring the most value to people is how to prepare for that day. Because, as human beings, we are emotional creatures. And especially with real estate, things get, I want to move now. And especially with the last couple of years, how crazy the real estate market's been. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of time to plan and do things. But one of the things I feel like I can bring to the table most valuably for people outside of the consulting of how to get through the transaction is preparing to sell your house.
Yep.
A lot of people think, I'm going to redo my bathroom or my kitchen or my whatever, my landscaping. Well, if you want to sell your house in a month, that's not realistic, or in 6 months, that's even a challenge. So anyway, being able to help people plan and think what's their 5-year plan of, my kids are going to be out of the house, or we're going to need a new house because our family is growing in the next 5 years, so we need to sell this one. So in line with that conversation, Bob had a statistic that he shared with me yesterday. So
statistically, your landscaping value should be 10% of your home value. So hypothetically, you have a $200,000-$300,000 home. Your landscaping should be technically $20,000 to $30,000. Now I know that sounds like a lot of money, but that could include your patio, if you've got a fire pit. All those things would, technically add on to that value. So, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, but I mean, it really depends on what kind of, the nice of the landscaping that could, invite a lot of new homeowners, or could scare a lot of homeowners, because again, a lot of younger people are buying, and that scares them. Landscaping scares people. So
well, and I think maybe this is a bad analogy. I think it's somewhat similar to having a basement. People have a basement, and then I want to have it finished off, and I want something different. I think there's especially with a cookie cutter copy and paste subdivision. Sometimes I drive by a lot of them, and it looks like especially on certain ones, you'll see the side of the house is just like a wall with like 2 windows and the exhaust for the second story laundry with all the lint and stuff that gets stuck in the side of the house.
Yes.
The front might be all kind of done up, but anyway, so there's a lot of times those big neighborhoods don't seem to really pay attention to aesthetics and the quality of those things. And so to me, when I hear 10% of your home value associated to your landscaping, I think part of that comes with a caveat of like, if you want to have a nice house, and obviously not everybody's going to be really into landscaping and do all of those things. But looking at houses I see that have, 0.1% of their value is in their landscaping, I heard somebody with a garage door company the other day say, your garage door is your smile to your house. And I think that's really the curb appeal. A lot of times in real estate, I say these people make their decision for your house or 50% of their mind up in the first 3 seconds they're there.
But as soon as they pull in, yeah.
So they see the curb appeal and, and obviously if curb appeal doesn't matter to them and landscaping isn't a big deal, well, then maybe it's not a big deal for you. But anyway, always, I think it's better to have a better first impression for your guests, for yourself when you come home, for whatever. And I obviously am in a greenhouse right now talking to Bob, so I like plants and things.
Yeah, I think the first thing or the most thing we hear most often is, I'm selling my house, just give me mulch. Because, again, mulch is,
quick, dirty,
easy. It's clean. It really pops. And then next would be flowers, of course. I just need something to put on the front stoop or put into the flower bed. So, something is better than nothing, obviously.
Yeah. So, obviously, if you're not selling your house, if you're planning to, it's still important. But just everyday life, I think having a outside that matches the inside, matches the structure, the character of your house, is an overall better thing. Now I feel like I'm rambling on about this topic.
It's all right. Well, we'll go to the next one.
No, I really like this one. I think so. Anyway, I guess what's so outside of mulch and flowers, if you're working on selling your house, just in general, like when somebody comes in and they say, or maybe do you have people that come in here and say, my landscaping is kind of
Yeah, every day.
I don't know anything. Help me.
Yeah, every day.
Where do you start?
We usually start with, where is your property located? Are you doing the front of the house, back of the house, sides? What direction does it face? We need to filter out a lot of questions before we even start asking them what kind of plants they even like. So you can't really plant hostas in full sun, or you can't plant daylilies in the shade. And I know those are two really basic plants, but it's a prime example of you can't just pick what you like and plant it. There is a lot of preparation in when you're doing landscaping, or if you want to do it successfully. Mm-hmm. So we filter out a lot of questions. Do you have windows that you don't want to block? Do you have neighbors that you don't want to see? So there's a lot of questions that we ask, and it blows their mind because they're expected to come in and buy plants and leave right away. But we want to set our customers up for success, and we feel guilty if we just say, oh yeah, go buy these hydrangeas or these spireas. It's not fun for us. We want these customers to be successful and to enjoy, because if they're happy with their landscaping, hopefully they'll want to do more.
So you're not into the quick buck of just making money selling something.
Obviously, it's not our style. We want our customers to be happy, and again, we feel a successful customer is a happy customer, is a repeat customer.
Well, and that's kind of where I was saying earlier with just watering plants, making sure they've got good sunlight, and the couple basic things that they need. Getting success, it's like with business coaching. Sometimes I'll get into things, and my coach will say, "You just need little wins." So I think sometimes when I hear people that aren't, they have a desire to have a green thumb, but they don't. Being able to learn those basics and, I can do this. Yeah. I did keep something alive, and then take one little step farther and one little step farther.
Yeah, I like that what you said about just the little win, just because so many times it's, my mom was the gardener, or my grandma was the gardener, and I don't know what I'm doing. So again, if we can just give them the tools to be successful, and like you said, get those little wins, and first it might be a pepper or tomato or even a house plant, and next thing you know, they're buying more and more and more. So
Yeah, and building that confidence, because that's one thing I love. I listened to a podcast a long time ago about a guy who was a professional amateur. He would go learn enough about a new topic just to become an amateur and understand something, and I kind of resonated with that I like learning how things work and the concepts and the principles behind things, and flowers and plants and gardening and landscaping and all of that is definitely one for me that. One, I think probably one of the best benefits of it is it does kind of force you to slow down and learn what's going on and pay attention to something that's living. And just, there's plenty of science out there that I've heard of that says nature is good for you. And that's one of the reasons I brought a bunch of it into my office.
Yeah. I mean, green. A lot of people are bringing a lot of those plants inside, and with the house plant craze going on right now, it is high demand, and people just want to be surrounded with, like you said, nature. So if that's inside or outside. So.
Mm-hmm. So a quick side note on this kind of side of things. where is there for a while? I know there was a trend of these $500 plants, and crazy, expensive.
So I know we talked about this. They're called rares or rare house plants. There are plants that are $2, $3, $4, $5, even $1,000 plants. I know it's mind-boggling. Which I own a few of those because, again, I'm an addict, so I have to have these plants, and they're super cool. They're typically slower, more unique, variegated, all the things, and I think, like I mentioned to you, it's no different than like the bourbon craze. Like I need to have that one bottle of bourbon or whatever it might be. I will stand in line on the hopes that I get it. And there are these types of plants out there as well where people are addicted to house plants and having the things that somebody else might not have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of raging in popularity?
It's probably plateauing right now because a lot of people have gotten these and they're getting smart where they can propagate their own. And all of a sudden, so you're buying this $500 plant and grow it out for 6 months, a year, and I'm going to chop it in half. And now, boom, I've got two. I can possibly sell these. And, of course, there's Facebook groups out there, of course, that I belong to. And just kind of seeing, that's where I follow the trends and seeing, okay, this plant was $500 last year, now it's $400. So, and again, I would assume, similar to the bourbon and anything, it doesn't have to be bourbon or house plants, but, once the demand starts to decline, obviously the price will match.
Mm-hmm. I know somebody that their son moved away to a different, down there on the other side of the world and left one of their expensive plants, and so she was in charge of it, and like one of the leaves started to die, and
freak out.
Well, it was just a funny way of looking at it. She said that was $250 because she could have propagated that piece back out, and and whatever, I can't remember what it was, but that specific plant just one little shoot off of it.
Yep. So
it was kind of amazing.
If you get to that level of the rare plants where you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if you're not ready to spend that money, you start with a snake plant, a pothos.
Yeah.
Get your feet well. Get those little wins before you go full board and buy the rare plant. No one should be buying these $500 plants without.
Sorry, that's kind of a deep dive on the other side of things. That went from like, let's just figure out how to do plants to the other side. Sorry. But, so let's switch to community stuff.
Got it.
So you guys have been here for a long time. I see you guys involved in the community. Why do you guys involve yourselves in the community?
I mean, of course, we are very blessed to be in a position that we can give back as much as we can. We love Marysville. Obviously, we've been here for 40 years. We've watched it grow. Again, we feel personally that, without the customers, we would not be in business, and how else can we, give thanks and by giving back to the community and many different organizations. So
be part of the community.
Yes.
Yep, totally agree.
Yep.
Totally agree.
I know that's the cheesy answer, but again, that's really just how we feel.
Well, sometimes that's life. Life isn't that complicated if you really boil it down.
Right? Yeah, basically
the basics.
Yeah.
It's always that's one thing. It's really interesting, some of the things I even take for granted. I love being here. I've been here for 30 years almost. And the new people that come in and are able to get plugged into the community and really just seem like, who was I talking to the other day that was just saying, people are coming in and loving it, and they're engaging, and it's an easy place to like jump into and build relationships and the quality of people. And so I think that's it's one reason I try to talk about the community as much as I can and work to sell it, because there are a lot of great people here.
Yeah.
And basics of life, that's kind of foundation is having people to spend your life with, and a quality community to be a part of. So off the soapbox, really excited for this year. I feel like there's a lot of things going on. I maybe it's just a feeling, or maybe it's a made-up thing, but I really feel like there's a lot of kind of energy out there. Like, I know we're, whatever you want to say, how far post-COVID we are, or how small it is, or whatever.
Yeah.
Really seems like there's kind of this pent-up energy of, like, people are going to start doing, people are starting to do things.
Yeah, people are ready, yeah.
So really anxious to see what, Oh, one of the cool ones, it's all cool, but unique maybe. Um, there is a not Noah Orr, the giant from back in the day. That's from here. That was
Well, his pictures on the 5th and Main there. Yeah.
Yep, they're on where one of the lovely historic buildings uptown has gotten some beautiful rehab windows and
saw that.
Looking really good. But yeah, he's on there. Anyway, there's going to be a Noah Orr festival, I believe, later this year. So
here in Marysville?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's. I talked to somebody who knows the guy organizing it, I believe, and said there's going to be he's talking to jugglers and so. Sounds like
don't they have
cool.
In the historical museum uptown? Don't they have a lot of his stuff in there?
I believe they have. I've been wanting to go the last couple of years. I've wanted to go, and every time of year it's now, and I don't think their hours are So, but yeah, last time I was in there, I believe they have his bathtub.
Oh.
Or something. So yeah, I believe there's a fair bit of stuff in there.
Very cool.
Maybe I ought to go in and check it out and do a video.
Yeah.
Showcase. Cool. Okay. So, anything new here in the greenhouse that you guys?
Yeah. So, new stuff. So, I mean, obviously, we will be growing still the same quality hanging baskets. Some things that we did a couple years ago and didn't do last year are these super hot peppers. Right. When I say super hot, I mean I'm talking ghost pepper is the mildest, and then it just goes up from there. We're kicking around the idea of doing a hot pepper eating challenge this fall.
I will not be a part of that.
But no, neither will I. I will. I mean, you could be the MC maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But no. There is a following for the super hot. I mean, I think they're making a lot of chili, flakes type stuff. I mean, there's this one series of hot peppers that we're growing. It's called 7 Pot, and the name is meant because one pepper is hot enough to produce 7 pots of chili. This is one pepper, stupid hot.
Huh.
So
I have not heard of that. But
anyways, so that's something that we're excited to bring back. I think we got 20 hot pepper. When I say hot, I mean super hot. So that's exciting. Of course, we've got a lot of house plants that we're propagating in the back. Of course, more than ever. Actually, we already have more growing than we sold all of last year. So we're crazy excited about that. We've got an amazing staff this year that we're really excited and
careful, don't say that too well. People get jealous.
Right. No, we have a great staff. We're really gonna focus our efforts on customer experience this year. Just really want to make sure everybody has fun, wants just to hang out here. So we're gonna put in seating areas where people can just chill, just come in here, have your work. Yeah, come here, work, have lunch, just enjoy being here and not necessarily buying anything. We don't care if you buy anything. We just want you to be here and enjoy literally what we get to see every day.
Yeah.
We wanted to have people experiencing that. Just have lunch here, read a book. We don't care, just chill. So that's what we're putting a lot of efforts into this year.
Very cool.
Yep.
I mean, that greenhouse that I've been working on. Just going out there. Oh yeah, I'll just I mean, there's nothing in there right now.
Yeah.
I'll just hang out in here. It's outside. It's sunny and warm and.
Well, I'm sure you've experienced when it's what is it today, 30 degrees, and the sun comes out. I mean, the heaters aren't going, and it gets balmy in here, but it just suckers. It's 20 degrees outside, and here I am at 70 degrees, and
I get sweat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I literally get to do this all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. And I always think people think I'm crazy, but just the smell of the warm, damp air with soil.
Oh, yeah.
That earthy smell.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Something kind of primal or whatever about it.
Oh, it's just it just brings out the senses, and I just come in here and smile. I mean, it's just fun.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep. I'll never forget. I went to school in the UP of Michigan. There's no farm fields up there. And I remember coming home at the end of it, and maybe it was spring break. I can't remember exactly what I was coming home for, but they were tilling the fields, and I haven't smelled this in forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, something really good about it. So, well, that's pretty cool. I'll definitely come hang out here and.
Yeah. So we are going to do like a little tagline here, like March 16th, 17th, 18th, I think it is, 15th, 16th, 17th, something like mid-March. We're going to do like a little spring preview. We're actually going to like offer tours, like really show people like possibly the back greenhouses where we grow and propagate a lot of things. Even the warehouse where we ship out, millions and millions of bulbs. We kind of get really geeked out and want to show people what we do because people don't know that we actually have a warehouse too where we ship out bulbs. So
and where do they go? Where do some of your bulbs go?
Well, they go all over, primarily garden.
The notable places.
The Franklin Park Conservatory, the other garden centers around locally, landscapers. That's just locally here in Ohio, and then we ship out to all 50 states, Bermuda, Canada, Puerto Rico, all over. So.
And don't they go to the White House, or is that like a secret?
Yeah, it's not a secret. The Pentagon has ordered bulbs and still does. Georgetown University.
I can cut that out if you want.
No, that's okay. No,
it seems like something. I'll brag on it.
It's not a secret. We supply a lot of bulbs to a lot of places. Just don't brag about it. Sort of.
It's called humility. It's a good trait to have.
So yeah, I mean we shipped out a lot of bulbs.
You were just saying, we like to get geeked out on it. It's because you do a good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
I mean, I'm not a bulb expert by any means, but I assume if the Pentagon's and the White House is ordering bulbs and they go across the world, something to it.
Something, yeah. So no, bulbs are really. I mean, they have always been popular for hundreds of years, and now they're just becoming more and more popular again. Like especially with tulips and dahlias. I mean, they're just fun and easy to grow, and they're and the cut flower craze right now is extremely popular. COVID had a lot of help to do.
So anyway, you guys, tours, that sounds really, well, tours and people coming in and just to kind of hang out and have lunch. Are you going to, like, food trucks?
Well, we are definitely thinking about the future on what that looks for us. We've got some ideas. We aren't really quite we're on a busy road, yes, but we're not like a destination for like food or anything like that yet. We feel at some point we definitely will be once we'll be surrounded by homes at some point.
Yeah.
Then
like
we'll
30 years hopefully.
That would be ideal, but I have a feeling it'll probably be sooner than that.
Yep.
We want to be set up for the long term. We're not going anywhere anytime soon, obviously. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was all I had on my list. Anything?
Do you want me to do it? You want me to?
I just didn't want to cut you off.
No,
Bob said he prepared some questions.
I did.
I
prepared some questions for Derek this time.
I'm kind of nervous.
They're pretty easy. Like, we'll start out with the easy one. What is your favorite plant?
I like it. Maybe not the easiest. So right now, in my little jungle of an office, I've got my red mangrove trees growing.
You mentioned those, yeah.
So those I'm really geeked out on, just kind of how they grow and remind me of Florida and all that stuff. And man.
Well, maybe I'll ask you another question. What are you excited to grow in your new greenhouse then?
Food mostly.
Food. Okay.
Food mostly. Right now, to get a good long to learn how to get a good long harvest period out of food. It seems like the way our summer goes and our schedule goes, it always turns into like last 2 years, everything was looking good every morning. Not every morning, but almost every morning I go out, weed everything for 5 or 10 minutes and just, slow and steady wins the race. And then it get dry or whatever and no weeds were growing. So I kind of laxed and then we'd get busy and I'd come back and boom.
Yeah.
It was engulfed in weeds. So being able to kind of get a little bit more out of it before the weeds take over and just learning kind of the cycle of an annual, all of that. But no, the favorite plant, I think I will have to say, my grandmother is where I got a lot of my plants from. She had a jade plant that was this big, it was, she was good at it. So I've still got a few vines and jade plant and snake tongue and all those things, but have a night blooming cereus. Sirius or whatever.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking
I don't think I do. No.
I got a time lapse of the flower coming open. It's Dennis the Menace.
Okay. Oh, one
The
of
plant
those.
in that,
Yeah.
That it blooms like once and then it's out.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, like star shaped, and it was. My wife caught it. Thankfully, it was like in October. So that one, just because it kind of reminds me of Grandma and whatnot. That's probably my favorite one, if I had to say.
Yeah, I think they had some of those. I think maybe it was the Franklin Park Conservatory where they had like a live stream going.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like people could like just watch it. It was bonkers.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 hours, and then the plant's kind of ugly, but
yeah, doesn't it smell?
This one I've never smelled it.
Okay.
I think there is a version of it that does.
Yeah. So.
What else you got?
All right. Not plant related. Just because I want to know, and don't say Marysville. If you could live anywhere, but you can't say Marysville because I know that's going to be your answer.
Yeah, because it's where. Okay. Yeah, these are the things do I say so they go public or not. How do I respond with my classifying or narrowing down? Is my wife coming or not?
It's a two-part question now.
Okay,
So.
With her, I don't know. So I would go to like Alaska if it wasn't like for the wife or kids. Alaska, the UP of Michigan, Minnesota, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be the general area I would go. I love the climate. Like the tropical rainforest. What would you call it? Because Juneau, Alaska, when we were there, that was a rainforest. So I don't know if that's just like a rainforest. But it just moss everywhere. Everything's green and lush. And anyway, that's not really her thing. So, I'm not sure what the other part of that. She'd like to go to the, big city, go to Columbus.
Okay.
Downtown
area. I think she did mention that the other night. Yeah. So, and then I guess a rando question.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. What is a common misunderstanding about realtors? Again, you don't have to answer this.
Oh, that's well, I'm gonna go with 2. One, a lot of I don't know what the numbers are, but the majority of real estate agents are independent contractors that generate. They don't eat if they don't kill. If they don't bring the bacon home and produce business, they don't get paid. The perception a lot of people have about real estate agents is they work for a company and the company pays them. And there's like a base salary or something. And, so some people will say, well, I'll work with anybody in your office. Well, no, that effort that that gas of running around to show you a house or my time of putting your listing together and then you changing your mind or whatever those kind of things are. And so similarly, people think that the company is just giving us leads and business to work and whatnot. And it's, and that's part of the reason I do what I do and do some of these things is to get out there. And because I enjoy building relationships and serving the community and serving people through work. And the other thing is I think everybody thinks, to tag on to that, everybody thinks we're all the same. Like we can all do the same things. We can all just, turn a key and open a door.
I think like you mentioned, the more people you know, the more people that trust you, it should make life a little bit easier and getting those things that you need.
Yes, and for anybody, I think the more people you know, the better relationships you have. Life is better lived with people.
Right.
So I think just like a lot of times I've said, just like taking care of your landscaping, so when you do decide to move or sell or whatever, it's already done, and you don't have to spend a bunch of time and feel like you're just blowing money. I mean, one of the most common things sellers will say is, "Man, I wish we would have done all this and fixed this house up before we moved."
Right. Yeah.
So that's my recommendation. Don't wait. Do it now. Enjoy your house.
You're right. Yeah. Well, we have that argument with our kitchen right now. We really want to get it done, and then Maddie, my wife, and I will. It's like our kids will just destroy this kitchen if we do this now. So I mean, we got a 4-year-old who literally will just run. I mean, if he's on like a little scooter or whatever it is. cars, just running things in. I'm like, I'm not going to spend this kind of money
to break a cabinet door.
Or to scuff it up. So I mean, how do you feel about that? Like you said, just do it now, but or like the van. We desperately need a new van. Our van is trash. I think we talked about this. I mean, there is.
Well, that's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little different on which I guess I'm not really sure if there's a good way to do a kitchen without like doing all of it versus like a halfway version.
Yeah, I feel like I need to re-baby proof the house just so it, like, you don't touch this.
Well, it sounds like, well, I don't know. I'd say give it another few years maybe, but I mean, I had 2 brothers and we had 3 boys. I don't know. I was going to say, sometimes teenage boys can be rough on stuff. Now, we had plenty of room to play around outside because I live in the house like you that I grew up in, and the more and more I do things, the more I feel like I've been rougher on the house since I've owned the house than my parents and us as kids ever were. Like just scratching the floor and just, moving stuff around. So I don't know, maybe.
Do you ever apologize to your parents? I feel like here lately I've been apologizing to my dad a lot. Like, sorry, Dad. Like,
do I or should I? I'll agree. Yes.
I just feel like I constantly am finding myself like, Dad, I'm so, if I was anything like my kids are to me, like I'm just sorry. So Dad, if you're listening, I'm sorry again for what I put you guys through. So there.
I like that. Yes. No, I definitely can relate to that feeling as a parent of understanding that.
Or another thing is, I remember the first time my parents babysat our kids, and this is, newborn, like, Dad, all right, the bath temperature needs to be this. and then he's like, I got this. I'm like, Dad, no, the temperature, it says it needs to be here. And like, all right, this is how the diapers need to go on, and, bedtime is at this time. And then now I'm like, Dad, just fill the tub. It's fine.
Just make sure they don't drown.
Just make sure they don't drown. So it's just comical that, the first child you would do anything, and obviously the third child, who knows where he's at this time. So it's just one of those things that's always funny. So.
Oh, for sure. All right, well, we are at 40 minutes, so I'm going to guess anybody hanging on here probably is ready for us to be done.
Yep.
Maybe. Man, that went quick.
I felt like it was pretty good.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. I think so. Well, y'all can let us know down in the comments. So, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you feel is appropriate, but we encourage you to stick around. I do ask that you share it with somebody else, and if you know anybody that would be good to talk to, I'd love to be introduced to them or made the connection. So, all right. Well, until next time, take care.
Bye.